What's up guys, this is my take on Wuthering Waves from a bigger video that I made where I ranked and reviewed 17 different gachas. If you're curious about that video, you can find this in the description. Now let's get into the game. Back when Kuro Games announced their project of Wuthering Waves, I was really excited for it because I knew what Kuro were capable of as a day one punishing Grey Raven, right? So I was really looking for what the game is going to be offering, especially after learning that it's also going to be hack and slash, which was really unique because I don't think there's that many open world gacha games who are also who are also hack and slash like Wuthering Waves is. And if you looked at the technical test and by the way, the technical test is something that exists before even the beta, so it was in a state where the game was nowhere near as polished as it was supposed to be. It's basically just give you an idea about what the game is gonna be like. The characters looks almost all the same, and if you compare some of the characters that exist in the game now compared to the technical test, you wouldn't even recognize them because all of their designs changed drastically. But I had faith in Kuro, and I knew that they were eventually gonna improve the game, and I was right about that. And I'm glad that I've been. Unfortunately, I didn't get picked up for the beta. I was really hoping that I can get picked in the beta and play the game, but it was fine, it was worth the wait. So the game released and I tried it and I instantly fell in love with it. I think when the game first released I was playing it for 3 weeks straight. I didn't put the game down at all. And by the way, just to give you an idea like about the progress of my game, if you look here, like I have all of the maps at 100%. This is Jinzu, this is the Black Shores, this is Rinasita, and this is Lahairoi. Although I still didn't 100% the recent map, like the one with the snow that we just got, I only 100% one region in there, but everything else I have at a 100%. So yeah, like I do actively play the game, I play it a lot. And this is my character roster. Right now we are in Sigrika's banner. This is one update before the anniversary. And these are the characters that I have. Like I'm only missing like what, 7 characters? Yeah, 39 out of 46. So I'm missing 7 characters. I really wanted Shuan because I only pulled Galbarena just to get Shuan, but then they announced Hiyuki and I was, oh my god, I have to get Hiyuki no matter what because she's basically the Wuthering Waves alpha. And if you know me, like I absolutely love alpha. Alpha for me is like the peak character in all of gacha games. So I absolutely have to get her, and I think Hiyuki is gonna be my first S6 character in Wuthering Waves. In fact, I'm actually planning to make a video about my pulls for her in the next update. I'm not sure if anyone's gonna be interested or not, but I think I might upload that in this channel. But yeah, like if you check it over, this is where I started playing the game, so it was day one. And yeah, like I got every character on their debut banner. Shorekeeper, I got Color on her debut, Camellia. Phoebe, I got her later on after Zani because I had to get Zani's best team. But yeah, and a lot of my characters have some really strong builds as well. And these are my character builds. I'm not gonna go through every echo in here, otherwise it's gonna take too long. But I'm just doing this just to show progress of my account and that I actively do play the game because I don't want you to think I only play only put the characters and then I put them in the background without grinding or anything. Cantarella, unfortunately, I still don't have a weapon, but I am planning to get it in the future. Yeah, Phoebe. Sorry, I always call her Phoebe, but yeah. Carlotta, Shorekeeper, Camellia, Changli, my beloved, Insi, Inli, and Jian. Yeah, like you can see their stats in here. And this is my end game progress. Like you can see, I can full start tower and Whimper and Waste. I'm recording this on Tuesday, so it's still the beginning of the week. I still didn't do the weekly yet. And this is the new endgame mode that they introduced. I still didn't get to play through it too much because you have to switch teams and all of that, so I only played 2 stages, I think. And I still didn't finish it yet. I still don't even know what it exactly is because it was just introduced during this update. But I am planning to play it later on. Let's talk about the game now. So when it comes to Wuthering Waves, I think its strongest points are the visuals and the combat. The combat is second to only PGR, which is funny because Punishing Grey is the other Kuro game, but I think the game has some really good, flashy and very fast-paced combat, like similar to Punishing Grey Raven. It's very satisfying to pull off your team rotations and your combos. Now I also think it caters to both the casuals and to the sweaty tryhards. What I mean by this is that if you are just a casual player, you can just do your standard rotations with your intros and outros, and that's it. And I think even the game itself is starting to cater more to that because the recent characters, like for example Ahmad and Luke, are not really catered to what the quick swap style. And the quick swap is basically what the tryhards do. For example, this is more prominent in teams like the Zani team. If you play Zani, then you're probably familiar with how annoying it is to play her team because of all the quick swaps shenanigans that you have to do. So you don't really need to play like a tryhard if you want to clear endgame contests. It's basically only if you really want to speed run and you want to play as optimal and min-maxing as possible. The best way that I can describe the game is that it's an easy game to learn, but it's hard to master. I think the game has a higher threshold in terms of difficulty compared to the other games. And I just generally think that the game has some really great visuals and graphics compared to other gacha games. Although one thing that I can complain about when it comes to the visual is that the game can sometimes be poorly optimized, especially during the cities. And it's not like I have a bad computer, like my computer can run a lot of games, even the AAA games very well without any issues. But when it comes to Wuthering Waves, like for example, if you look at this city, sometimes I can get some frame drops here and there, and it can be a bit annoying. Usually outside the cities, it can be fine. But inside the cities, there's usually a lot of lag and a lot of frame drops. I really wish Kuro could address the optimization issues because this is the only thing that's preventing the game from being like running smoothly and looking good while also feeling good. Because even though the game looks good, but if the performance is just gonna be bad, then it doesn't really matter that much. It's not too bad for now, but sometimes somehow it feels like it keeps getting worse and worse with each update. This whole thing started way back in Septimon, and I don't know what they were doing, but I really hope they can fix their optimization. Character balance wise, I would say if you asked me last year, I would say the game was in a fine state. But ever since Augusta and Iono's release, I think the game has started accelerating in terms of power creep. And don't get me wrong, this is not to say that older characters can't clear content. They can still, of course, clear it, but you would need to invest even more in them. Like, for example, if you want to use Jian and I don't know, some of the other characters, it's a bit harder compared to the newer characters. And don't even get me started on Yinlin. By the way, Yinlin used to be one of my favorite characters on release, mainly because she looks like Vera. And I am one of the unfortunate victims who S2'd her on release. But I don't regret it that much because I do like her design, but honestly, I just think they can. I'm not gonna get into too much details, but yeah, like the power creep in this game has been getting a bit accelerated in recent months. And the other thing that I kind of don't like about Wuthering Waves is how some characters are very restrictive without specific teammates. And the first offender of this was back in the days, it was Zani. So Zani without phobia, oh my god, I keep calling her phobia, it's Phoebe! I'm sorry! Like, without Phoebe, like she can't function at all. Like she can't even reach her max stats, and playing her feels completely different without Phoebe. So I was one of the people who didn't have Phoebe back when Zani released, and honestly, it just got to a point where I just benched her. Even though Zani was one of my favorites, but I had to bench her straight up. And it was until her rerun where I was able to get her Phoebe, and then you can really notice the difference. This applies to some other characters, although not to the same extent. Like for example, Tia without Kokona, like she feels a bit different to play. And recently they have been doing a bit more of this with the tune-in mechanic that they added with 3.0. Like currently in the game, there's a mechanic called the tune strain, and the only character who can inflict this in the game is Line from here. There are some characters who require you to have tune strain if you want to utilize the kit. So if you didn't pull Line, then you're screwed. Maybe they're gonna add more support later on, but the issue is that there is not even 4 stars options for this. Like if they only at least had some 4 stars, even if they are downgrades, at least you can have access to this mechanic. But restricting whole mechanics behind 5 stars is a bit of something that I don't agree with. And this is unfortunately something that a lot of gacha has been doing nowadays. But yeah, Wuthering Wave gameplay, really good. One of the best out there. If you just really care about the gameplay, then I can't recommend Wuwa enough. It's really good. It has some really satisfying combat. Like I'm gonna be showcasing here one of my favorite team with Changli, who's one of my favorite characters, at least for now, because I feel like that might change a little bit next update with Hyuki's release. So yeah, this is just the Mono Fusion team. it's a bit outdated by today's standards because there's a more characters that you can use for the fusion team, especially with how power crept after like Amat's release and Galbrena. Like, oh my god, it's so hard to talk and play. Like, I already missed screwed out my rotation. But yeah, like, it's really good. I'm gonna be showing another team. This is Luke's team, who just got released lately. What I really love about his gameplay is that he has aerial combats, and he really became one of my favorites just because of the gameplay, also because of Sarah, who's, by the way, the best male wife in the game. I don't care what anyone says. Luke is the best wife in 3.8 in La Roll. Period. I don't care what anyone says. And Aymat is the best daughter. Anyway, let's get to the gameplay. Like, it's gonna be so hard to play and talk at the same time while recording this. And I already screwed out my rotation because I was supposed to start with Sanwa, wait swap to Shorekeeper, and then use my rotation. This is what I'm saying. It's so hard to talk and play. Like when I watch people play and talk, it looks easy, but it really is. Yeah. And then you use it alt, because I have 3 stacks. Yeah, like repeat the rotation. I have Shorekeeper S1. I just got her from the spending event last update. Yeah. Yeah, you just have to quick swap Sanwa with Shorekeeper to get your rotation faster. And I really wish I actually should not be using Shorekeeper in this team. I should be using Monya. I'm not even sure I'm using Shorekeeper here. Yeah, I don't even have my ult off because I screwed out my rotation. It was not supposed to be like this. But yeah, just look at his smile. How can you not love him? Yeah, like when it comes to gachas, I am as much of a husbando enjoyer as I am a waifu player. I don't have any preference. Like I do love what. If anything, I would probably say that nowadays I'm more biased toward husbandos just because of the fact we don't really get enough, especially in Wuthering Waves. In Wuthering Waves last year we only got 2. We only got Geshulin at the end of the year. And that's it. But yeah, I think Luke did well in terms of his banner. I think he has some of the best banners. I think I saw a post lately where it says it sold way more even than Iono and some other female characters. So I do hope they can keep getting like more males characters released. We really need them. And also please Kuro, Geshulin when? Please give me Geshulin. I've been waiting for him for so long. I actually been waiting for Geshulin to be released to be my first S6 card. You know why? Look at my signature in the game. Playable Geshulin Wayne. Just give me the goddamn character, man. I mean, he was literally one of the first characters who were showed in the first video of game's release. You know, the one that has a trailer. That was like it had the whole history of the Jian and Geshulin, how he became the commander general and all of that. So I was expecting him maybe they would release by the end of 1.x, but boy was I on some real heavy copium at that time. Because right now we are in like 3.2, yeah, 3.2, and there's still no sight of him. I really hope he gets released because I was planning for him to be my first S6, but now I think that's gonna be stolen by Hiyuki next update. So yeah, unfortunate, but I'm still gonna keep the cop alive. Time to talk about some of the downsides of Wuthering Waves. In my opinion, I think the biggest downside with Wuthering Waves comes from the story, whether it be in the story writing or the direction that it takes with the character. And hear me out, I know this might be a hot take, but I personally really do think that Wuthering Waves is mainly carried by its flashy animations and cutscenes and the good music that comes with it. And what I mean by that is that during the moment when you're playing a story and at the end of it, like during the last, I don't know, 15 minutes of the story, you always get these cutscenes with some really good music that have some really good vocals and all of that. And during that moment, you will think, oh my god, this is so peak and all of this, and then you're gonna be automatically thinking that, oh my god, the story was so good. And don't get me wrong, those cutscenes and animations are so good, but for me, they don't always make me feel a good thing. What I mean by that is that good cutscenes should serve as a payoff to a good writing. They should not be the opposite. Good animations should not be what carries the story and make it look better than what it actually is. And I think the story sometimes is just like a bunch of nothing burger where it just drags for no reason. Like there's some forced plots that happen in the story just to fill a certain gap in the story, and then the main plot of the region only gets like brought up at the end of it or something. So it makes you feel, what's the point of all of this that we've done in this update? And the other issue that I'm sure many people have heard already is just how much the characters glaze the MC. Like, I'm talking about Rover, because everywhere you go, every character is always just talking about the MC, like some sort of hero. It's like they didn't have any existence before until Rover came. And this gets a bit annoying. Like, I wouldn't have minded this if it was just one or two characters, you know? If it was just one character who does this, fine, I don't mind it. Like, when it happened with Shorekeeper during 1.5, I think, it was not a big issue for me, because it kind of makes sense. It was a character that they knew for a long time, and it was the one who found. Okay, I'm not gonna go into the spoilers, but you know what I mean, right? But when it keeps happening with every single character, then it just stops feeling special. It doesn't make me feel anything. Okay, it's just another waifu bait. Okay, it's just another character who gets really cool. This doesn't apply to everyone. And don't get me wrong, if you like this kind of things, it's fine. I'm not judging anyone. Like, everyone has their own thing. This is just, like I said, this is just my personal opinion and my bias. I really wish like the character treated like Rover as some character who is new to the region. In fact, one story is that back in the beta, a lot of things changed. During the beta, like back when, if you remember during the story where we meet Shishia and Yan Yan for the first time, during the beta, it was a bit different. They were more hostile towards Rovers, and when you fight against the Crownless, like, you lose during that fight. The story was a bit more dark during the beta. But I don't know what happened that they made it so that they changed everything from the early game, and then they made everyone like be friendly with Robert even though they've met him for the first time. Even though any sane person who is in that situation, they're gonna be questioning who is that person. But no, in the early game they just treat Robert with care and everything. Like, I don't know, some things just don't really make any sense if they were in a real world setting. And I know this is just a fantasy world and all of that, but there are some things, like when it comes to human emotions, like human emotions should be relatable. You should not do something that doesn't make any sense, like in terms of people's reactions and interactions with the other character. And the other thing that I have with this story is, once the story finishes and after the character's banner ends, that character just disappears from the story. Period. Like, I still can't get over how Chisa barely got any appearance in 3.0 after all of the things that we went through in 2.8 during her updates. It makes zero sense. But this is something that just happens with every character. You meet the character for the first time because they have their banner. After their banner on the next update, you don't see them anymore or even hear about them. And they just keep coming up with some excuse. Like, for example, the reason why Lupa didn't join us when during the Augusta updates and things like that. Like, they have the choice. Like, I know some people will be like, oh, but this has an explanation in the story. Yeah, it does have an explanation in the story, but who put that explanation? It was Kuro themselves. They chose to exclude those characters from the story. If they wanted to include them, they would have also found excuses to include them, but they did that with choice. So they wanted to exclude those characters. So it's not like about the story or anything. However, I think the game has been showing some promise lately. For example, in the previous update, which was the AMAT update with 3.1, that was easily the best story that we had in the game in terms of story. I was genuinely impressed. When I saw Amat, I was like, oh my god, it's another pink-haired waifu. Where have I seen this before? And I didn't have high expectations. But oh boy, I was completely wrong. I think the story direction with that update was really good. I did enjoy it. I'm trying to keep it vague because I don't want to spoil things, but that was really good. And I think if they keep going with that pace, I think the game is going to be improving a lot in terms of story. Even the current update right now that we have with Sigrika, I think they started to realize some of the issues that they had with story, because we had a lot of characters showing up again, like even Luke and Lucilla. And there was even an event where you meet some of the other characters, which is also tied to the main story. It's not like just an event, it's an event that is tied with the main story. So I think that's it's a step in the right direction. So I think the game started to acknowledge some of the issues that it had and started to fix them. And if they keep up with this, I think the game is going to be absolutely insane. Because if Wuthering Waves is already an insane game, it has good explorations, it has amazing combats and flashy animations, it has great cutscenes and music, and the only thing that's holding it back is the story. If it had a good story, I think I would easily put the game in S tier, maybe even in like higher S tier. But yeah, that's it for Wuthering Waves. I think the game has some of the biggest potential out of any gacha games, and I think it's heading towards a good direction. Right now we're getting a lot of good quality of life changes, and the game seems like to acknowledge the things that are wrong with it. And we are right now waiting for the live stream of the next update, which is going to be the anniversary, and hopefully it's going to be a good update, because last year there has been a lot of drama during the anniversary and they had to give us some extra compensations for it. But I think this year is going to be better. I truly do believe that this anniversary is going to be much better compared to the previous one, and hopefully we get some unexpected changes. And also, if you're interested in seeing my S6 pools of Hyuki next update, then let me know. I'm honestly still not sure if I want to do gacha pools on the channel or not, because I think there's already a lot of people who do that. But if you are interested, if you think that's good content, then let me know. This is gonna be my first S6 character in Wuthering Waves, and I would like it to be my first pooling session that I can upload on YouTube.